Alright guys, so welcome to my Inktober flip through. I had originally filmed this video a few days ago because I actually finished Inktober ahead of time so that I would have pages to post during the month of October, which I guess is cheating, but I did do 31 drawings, so is it really? However, even though I had filmed that video ahead of time, the files did corrupt, so I'm here to start all over again. And I guess that was fate telling me that I had to do it on Halloween day. So I'm hopefully gonna try to finish this video up, edit it, and try to post it possibly November 1st. Don't know yet. But basically, I'm just gonna do what I had done before and just flip right through, and hopefully this introduction won't be as long as the one I had originally filmed because I think I still need to work on how I start my videos. So here is my Inktober book for 2019. So usually when I do Inktober, I usually just have my sketchbooks to do it. So if anyone's seen my other videos, you guys know that usually I have my Inktobers in my sketchbooks that look like this. I have a bunch of these. I've been doing it for the past 2 years, so this is my 3rd year doing it, and I always do it in my sketchbooks because it's such a good way to fill up my sketchbook. But this year I decided to do something different, and I ended up doing all 31 images on these sheets of paper. And then after I did it, I realized that I didn't want them to be loose sheets anymore. So I bound them, and this is my first time binding anything. So it's not necessarily the best binding ever, but I'm still really proud of it. So let's do it. So for each word, as you can probably tell, I followed the original prompt list for every single one of them. So these are all the prompt list for Inktober 2019 from the official Inktober website. And I had planned first not to do single images for each one, not to do illustrations, but to actually do a kid's book. But then after I went through it a lot, even though I created characters for it, I kind of lost hope in the idea. Not that I couldn't do it, just that I wasn't as thrilled about the storyline that I had come up with, and since Inktober was about to happen anyway, I just didn't want to have to reorder it around. You know, I had other things to do this month, and the whole purpose of Inktober for me is to, you know, fix up my skills. So I picked one asset that I thought I could do better in, and I just went with that and did individual images instead. Pretty proud of the result, so maybe I'll do that next year. So for each image, I did, you know, whatever the first thing came to mind was, and then I did the definitions on the back. So as you can see, the first one is ring. I wanted to have the definitions on the back because I really wanted to, 1, work on my lettering, and 2, work on my black and white. So I would work on my black and whites for the first thing because I tend to do a lot of color, and I feel like I've been relying a lot on color, and that's what I wanted to focus on. And 2, I really wanted to work on my lettering because I feel like my handwriting is not my best asset, and you know, I can always work on that. So I would do the definitions in the back of whatever particular thing I used specifically. So in this case, I did take ring literally as just being the rings, but there were a bunch of definitions that I could have gone for, but that's why I just did noun and I did the definition for it. So as I go through, you'll notice that some of them are not the first definition for it, or maybe it's from a phrase, but I would just do it however the first thing would come to mind. And then after I bound it, it's when I did all the color on the back, because just because I gave up color for the images does not mean that I gave up color as a whole, and you'll notice that as we go. Then is mindless. Bait. I think that's what I'm gonna do for the next few minutes of the video. I'm just gonna try to guess exactly which one is which after all 31 days, because you kind of forget as you post, you know. Freeze. This one's build. This one's husky. I'm a winner. This one is enchanted, and If I ever do film a flip through of it, I will let you guys know, but anyone who knows me or follows my page on Instagram or seen my website has probably seen these characters pop up a lot, and it's because they are characters that I used for an assignment a few months ago, and I'm still in love with them, so I'll probably do more stuff with them in the future if anyone's interested. This one's Frail. Ooh, flipping is hard. This one's Swing. I based this one off of the Swing in Springtime, in case anyone sees it and thinks it's familiar. I've done too many of the Swings by Fragonard, so I wanted to move up from that. And also, if anyone is upset by how I pronounce that, I'm sorry, I am not French. This is Pattern. This is Snow. This one is Dragon. No. Yes, this one's Dragon. This one is Ash. Before I flip through it, I do want to mention though that this one was the little girl that was supposed to be the original protagonist of my first idea. Don't know if I'm going to keep that if I do end up doing a children's book next year round, but her name is Ash. That's the definition. Couldn't get away from it. This one's Overgrown. This one's Legend, and if anyone can tell, I did base it off Lizzo, because if anyone deserves to be like a legendary witch, it's Lizzo. This one's Wild. This one is Ornament, and yes, it is based off of my grandmother's couch. This one's Misfit. Sling. Tread. I think this is another one of my little reoccurring characters. I also made her for an assignment like ages ago, and she's just popped up ever since. If I ever do anything with her, I'll be very proud of her. This one is Treasure. Possibly one of my favorite fronts and backs for this whole thing. This one's Ghost. This is how I actually draw ghosts. Anyone who's seen anything of mine that has to be scary has probably seen one of these dumb little things pop up. They're like those little car wash inflatables that just roam around, but they're ghosts. That's kind of how I draw ghosts in general. I'll put a link to the stickers that I made with my friend on the back so you guys can see that it is a continuing theme, and I have a problem. This one is Ancient. Shout out to the Greeks for being able to do that while still being symmetrical, because some of them are a little wonky. This one is Dizzy. This one's Tasty. This one is Dark. For this one, I had a little bit of an issue because I had decided to do all those stars, and doing symmetrical stars over and over and over again for somebody who's so used to just doing organic shapes is so annoying. I am pretty proud of the result, even though some of them aren't necessarily perfect. But I'm pretty proud of it. I am a little upset though, because for some reason, out of all 31 images, this one did not send to my email the first time. So I had to take a picture of it after, when I remembered, and by then it was already the day of posting the word dark, so I kind of had a mix up. But the point is, I did it for that day and it's here. This one is Coat. I had no idea what I wanted to do for Coat, because I thought that drawing like a coat, like a regular normal coat, it wouldn't really work with the themes that I have going, because a lot of my themes tend to be more fantasy based. I could have done a really rad coat, but I couldn't bring myself to sketch it out for some reason. So I kind of just went for coat of arms, and hopefully that translates well. We'll see. This one is Ride, and she's also become a little reoccurring character. I did her for the Halloween zine, or zine, however you say it, that I'm in. I'll probably put a link to that below. I don't know if they'll still be selling them once Halloween is over, but you should definitely check out the work of everybody that's in it. And we are going to be doing another one for Christmas that I have to submit in November, so you guys should definitely all check that out. But she's in my original one. This one is Injured. This one is my only other landscape orientation drawing. And I tried to have catch, because that's the word that I'm using here, kind of reflect like this person is hiding from these people and, you know, they're trying to catch him. But I don't know if that fully translated because of the lighting that I tried to use. I feel like if I had more time, I could definitely work it better because I definitely think it has potential. But out of all of my Inktober's, I think it's my least favorite. But you know, you still gotta share it. And then my last one is Ripe. I will say, however, that Catch's background is one of my favorites. So at least the back is pretty sick. And then finally I did Ripe, which I already said, but you know, we had to backtrack. So Ripe, I ended up going for Persephone because I'm a mythology nerd. And then here is the backs. So as you can see from these little babies over here, I had wanted to do some color studies for some of them. And some are more successful than others because they're just color studies that I did over Photoshop in my computer. I took the original image and I tried to do like overlays or textures or whatever just to try to practice it. So some are definitely better than others, and they obviously could have printed better because these are just regular printer paper from my mother's pharmacy. But I just wanted to practice that. So I only did my favorite 7. So Treasure, I did Ring, Coat, Swing, Sling, Dragon, and Ripe. I will say that obviously, like I mentioned before, some are better than others. Some have good ideas, but they weren't concepted right. Because they're, you know, at the end of the day, they're just studies. I'm not trying to do a finished piece here. For some of them, I really like I have the texture here that I did for Swing. Hopefully, if I ever take that to finish, I'll definitely keep that. I like the coloring that I used for this one. But you can definitely tell that her skin tone is a little out of place just because it's the only other color that pops up. But the color, I think, is gorgeous, and I'm probably going to keep that if I ever take it to finish. This one was a little, not necessarily disappointing because I definitely like the texture that I ended up going with, but it definitely doesn't look like how I intended it to look. So if I ever take any of these to finish, I'm definitely going to fix this one up because she has so much potential. But yeah, so I did all those color studies, and I'm going to keep them in the exact same booklet that I made my Inktober's for so that they don't get lost or anything. But everything is exactly where it should be. So for the book itself, I feel like I should mention that I have never bound anything in my life. This is all me. Oh, sorry, the camera got wobbly. Doing this at home, trying really hard to keep the pages, because I think what I was trying to do this year is that I got so used to doing the Inktober's in my sketchbooks and filling all of my sketchbooks that I always had a place to go back to. In my last sketchbook, I actually had my last 2 Inktober's in it because it took me 2 to 3 years to finish it. That being said, I think the reason that I wanted to branch out and do it in a completely different place is because with Inktober, I'm trying to practice, whether it's practice my portraiture like I did last year or practice my time management skills like I did the first year. It's about practice for me. So some of them aren't as good as I would like them to be. And that's okay, because that's the whole point of Inktober. But that being said, I hate seeing like really ugly images in my sketchbooks, mainly because my sketchbooks are very personal to me. Like, I like to have beautiful pages in my sketchbook. That's the whole reason that I have my sketchbook, at least those specific sketchbooks. I have some sketchbooks that are just for thumbnailing, just for sketching ideas, and I don't care if certain images aren't exactly up to par in that notebook. But when it comes to my actual like colored sketchbook, these are sacrosanct. These are so good to me. So I ended up going for doing loose leaf sheets, and then I had a moment of horror where I was walking with all of them and they all like fell out of my arms, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna continue to do this outside of my sketchbook, but I at least want to make sure that they're bound together. So that's how we ended up with this zebra tissue paper washi tape monstrosity, but it's got character. So yeah, thank you for looking through my Inktober flip through. I know that I originally only made this channel to do sketchbook flip throughs, but I can only do that so many times because it takes me so long to finish a sketchbook. So if there's anything that you want to see from me that maybe you saw on my Instagram that you want me to talk about here, let me know. I would love to have more films to show you guys. Love to have more videos to have. I'm also going to be doing a flip through of my last Inktober, so you guys can see the mistakes that were made or the stuff that I'm really proud of with that. And so yeah, if there's anything you want to see, comment below, send me a message, maybe DM me on Instagram, and I'll try to do that in November. Thank you.